Hey guys, so I bought some D&D dice a while ago and decided I should make a nicer container for them. I had this wooden box and it was the perfect size for it. I took all the screws out and removed the metal. I covered the surface with a thin layer of super sculpey clay. It didn't take me too long to decide that it would be Cthulhu themed. I wasn't sure how to make the surface yet, so I started working on a Cthulhu head that's going to be the main focus. I didn't really have any specific reference, so I just sculpted it the way I wanted to. I pre-baked 2 small balls for the eyes so they wouldn't be squished while sculpting around them. Of course, I had to give him an angry looking upper lid and a detailed lower one that makes him look like he's sleep deprived. For the mouth tentacles, I rolled out some clay and added some detail by just rolling it around with a tool. I also added little suction cups that were really annoying to make but added a lot to the design. I made this weird tube thing to attach to his face as well. After finishing all the details, I added the tentacles to the face and put a bit of clay on top to blend them in better. I smoothed it out and added a few more lines. You also always have to make sure to drop your unbaked piece for good luck. I made this nice little texture tool, which is something I learned from an awesome crafter called North of the Border. You should really check him out. And I used it to add a lot of nice texture to the skin. Now we are going to pretend like you didn't already see the box in the background of the previous frames and start working on it. I added different sized balls to the surface and smoothed them into the clay. I also added these long strips and smoothed them in the same way. I don't know what these are, but they seemed fitting, so I added them everywhere as well. Now it's finally time to add the Cthulhu to the base and move the tentacles around to shape them a bit. As a finishing detail, I added little bumps on his face. The bottom of the box was looking a little bit boring and empty, so I added a few extra tentacles around the bottom as well. After baking, I painted everything in a base layer of grey and then in a layer of dark green. I also painted the insides that touch, and they ended up sticking together a bit and ruining the paint job, so if you do make something similar, watch out for that and maybe use a different paint or just don't paint them. I went over the bumps with a lighter green and also painted the head much lighter to stand out. I covered the top part of the long strips with a lighter tone as well and painted the round things in a more yellowish green. The bumps on his skin were yellow but stood out way too much, so I went over them again with darker color to blend them in. All the suction cups got covered in an off-white tone. The eyes painted red. I also painted the inside of the box in a darker red. After everything was dry, it was time to cover it all in a dark wash. I went over the base with an orange wash as well, but it was too diluted, so I did it again with a stronger red wash later. Added some final details to the head to make it stand out even more, and it was time for assembly. I wanted to treat my dice like princesses, so I decided to make a velvet bottom for the box. I only had this thin one on hand, so I cut off the edges in an effort to hide the seams and glued them down to the bottom of the box. In the end, the seams are still a bit visible, but that's okay, no one looks in there anyway. I glazed the eyes, and it was time for the dice to go to their new home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!